So this house was built right after the Civil War. We don't know exactly when, but somewhere between 1864 and 1867. So it's probably 150 years old, give or take. We bought the house in 1973. We moved in almost exactly 42 years ago. I was just about to start graduate school, so the house was extremely affordable. We could afford to buy the house, and our mortgage payment was less than we would be paying for rent. And at the time, Fishtown was sort of a viable blue-collar neighborhood. There were still factories in the area, so that a lot of the people lived and worked right in the neighborhood. And that's actually what changed over time, is a lot of the factories gradually went out of business and there were more unemployed people in the area. So there was a period of downturn. We were a little bit nervous about what was going to happen. And then maybe 10 or 15 years ago, there was sort of a turnaround where there are nice restaurants and so forth nearby when there weren't before, notably Johnny Brenda's and some other kind of music venues opened in the neighborhood and began to attract a different group of people. And so in the last 5 to 10 years, the neighborhood has made a dramatic turnaround. When we moved in, it was in an amazingly original condition. I mean, the woodwork had never been painted. There were walls in the house that had never been painted. They just had paper on them. We have a built-in stove in the kitchen that was original to the house. It's a big old cast iron stove with a chimney that actually goes down into the basement to support the weight of the stove. And the chimney goes all the way up, of course, all the way through the house. There's 2 faces to the stove because there was originally a winter and a summer kitchen. So the big stove is in what was in the winter kitchen. The smaller back stove is in what was called the summer kitchen. When there was no air conditioning, during the summer they would cook on a smaller stove in a back room where they could open windows and doors and so forth. We actually knocked down the wall that was separating the 2 rooms and made it one large eating kitchen, and we left the stove as kind of the centerpiece. The other thing is this original woodwork, and we have 3 of these mantelpieces around the house and the old light fixtures and so forth. If you look on the front windows, they're all original shutters that still work. So, you know, it's a 14-room Victorian in remarkably original condition. For years, we didn't have an air conditioning system, and then we added window air conditioners. So at the height, I would put 9 air conditioners in every year. We are sort of charter subscribers to the Old House Journal, where the Unico system is advertised. So we sort of knew of it from reading that magazine. So when I went looking, I basically went looking for somebody who would install that system, although we actually did get some people to give us some idea what they would do with a more traditional system, and you know, it would have been much more disruptive in terms of damaging the plaster and that sort of thing. I would say if we had any complaint with the system, it was the price. With this system, it seemed like everybody was charging more or less the same. We went with ECI. The installation went more smoothly and more cleanly than I had ever imagined. It's a dual system, so the 2nd and 3rd floor runs off a compressor and an air handler upstairs, and the 1st floor and the basement run off the one in the backyard. And the machinery is, we can hear the compressor in the backyard when we're in that part of the house. Other than that, you hear nothing at all other than the whoosh of the air. But they certainly did a wonderful job installing it. This is all original plaster. Almost all the plaster in the house is 150 years old, and they didn't crack anything. So that they were remarkably undisrupted, really. The workmen have been really pleasant and easy to get along with. They're responsive. They, you know, ask permission to do things. They've been really first rate. It really, the system and the installation couldn't have been better, really. It's wonderful having the whole house air conditioned. I mean, for one thing, my back is okay, and just having the house cool all the time is really a nice thing.